I'll tell you this, there's two types of coaches in the world, right? There's the ones who make money and there's the ones who don't. Because they're not making money, they don't have a huge budget for advertising. And what that means is that they get the leftovers. A coach like Ty Lopez or Justin Wall, who dominates their industry, they will spend money on ads and they get the best leads.
Yo, what's going on? So I'm here with Dylan Blues, my mentor, my business partner. Dylan, I think honestly, man, you're one of the most skilled, most experienced individuals in the high ticket coaching space. Dylan, he doesn't have a massive social media presence, but he's working hand in hand with...
Keep it on the low. Oh, he's a low key.
He's working hand in hand with your favorite influencer to scale their coaching business to millions of dollars a month. So we just wanted to chat, talk about the space, talk about the industry, and just chop it up.
100%. I appreciate the kind words and I appreciate the intro. I think a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions when it comes to landing jobs, landing gigs, careers, placements, stuff like that. Probably the most important thing in this entire industry, right? Because you could be the most skilled closer in the world, but paired up with an opportunity where you don't have lead flow, you don't have quality leads, you're never really going to get anywhere. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about how to tap into the industry and what to really do to get a career where you could actually make this a full-time income. We're just going to chop it up, answer hopefully some of the questions you guys might have lingering in the back of your mind, and hopefully give you guys some value here. So let's rock.
Yeah, like I feel like there's so much just like misinformation in the space, like
100%.
The whole high ticket closer world, like we've really professionalized it and we've gone big with it and done it in a big way. But like most of the industry, it's just, you know, internet marketers and people with no experience who are just like fighting for the same opportunities. And I think this is going to be important. I know you started closing, was it like 2018, 2019?
Yeah, 2018.
How did you first find this world and how did you, start closing?
That's a good question. I'd say I almost found it by accident, right? I started selling with an e-commerce coach. So I went from door-to-door sales to looking for an opportunity to work with online coaches and consultants, because I saw some people running ads saying, go watch my webinar or buy my ebook and do this and do that. And I knew that, like, at the end of the day, it's like people aren't buying a $5,000 or $10,000 program off a webinar. Like maybe a small percentage are, but what about the 99%, right? So I messaged this one coach on Instagram and I told him, I'm like, I'll call all your leads. You don't pay me a penny up front, only pay me if I close something. If he gave me like week-old leads or 2-week-old leads, I called them. In my first couple weeks, I did about 60K in sales at 20% commission, 12 grand in the first couple weeks at, I don't remember, 16 or 17 years old. And then, man, I got addicted, because like I was getting up on ladders and fucking cleaning windows. So I'm like doing this, making more money with my feet kicked up, drinking like coffee and just chilling and making like 12K in a couple weeks. I'm like, that's the fucking dream right there, So I did that, hired a bunch of friends, hired you guys, we kind of just naturally scaled because we were performing, so the clients was never an issue. We were getting a bunch of referrals, but like for somebody who's just starting out, that's not going to be the case, right?
So you didn't have to start as an appointment setter?
No. It's a misconception, a lot of people apply for these closer roles and they're like, oh, well, you have to start as an appointment setter. And then it's like working in a car dealership, going from like at the mechanic side of the dealership to being like a finance manager. It's two completely separate roles with separate responsibilities. You don't work your way up from being a mechanic to a finance manager.
I kind of look at it, it's like if you're going to the MBA, like if you have the option to just go, like if you're in high school, you have the option to go to the MBA, like you're getting that check, like you're going to go for it, right? Like why would you spend 4 years in school making no money just training if...
No, I'm going to go to college. So it fucking makes no sense,
Yeah, but okay, cool. So, it's crazy because, especially like for the past 4 or 5 years or so that we've done the agency, we've done everything here. Like obviously we didn't really need any kind of social media presence.
Yeah.
Getting online and like I'm looking up, I want to see what's out there, right? I want to see like what other people are saying, and I always see the same thing, and it drives me crazy how there's so many people with big followings who will say, oh, to become a remote closer and make 20 grand a month, step 1, get good at sales. Step 2, join Facebook groups and start reaching out to coaches, right? And I really think people are just being misinformed. How would you say, because I know we talked about this, like 2023, someone coming in, maybe they have a little bit of sales experience, maybe they have like no sales experience, but they have charisma or whatever. Like how can they like break into the space, find a job, find a placement and actually start a career?
Yeah, that's a good question. Let's take it a step back for a second, right? Because we don't have a big social media presence because we don't have to, right? If somebody's just starting out, that's totally different. It's a totally different conversation. I have a name in the industry, like people know who I am, right? So it's like if people think I need to build a sales team, they think our agency, right? They don't think, oh, let me go fucking scrolling through Facebook groups and pick one out of 100 fucking million appointment setters or closers, right, to hire. That's not how it works, right? So for us, we've already established our credibility in other ways. The way we've established it is through results, right? We've done tens of millions of dollars for our clients. Now, if you're a sales rep starting out, that's not you, right? Like you don't have a reputation and you don't have a track record to rely upon like we do, you know? Like I message people all the time. I see their ads. I'm like, okay, this could be a good client. And 99% of the time I'll message them. They'll be like, have you closed any deals before? And I'll be like, here are my fucking clients. Here's a testimonial from Ty Lopez. Here's a testimonial from Justin Wall. Here's a testimonial from like fucking 20 other people. And it's like, I'm basically guaranteed to land them as a client. You don't have that, right? So as a salesperson starting out in this industry, it's challenging, right? You have that challenge of landing clients. And there's really a couple ways you could go about it, right? Option number one is, well, actually, you know what? Before we get to that, let's talk about the whole Facebook group nonsense. Billion-dollar companies, right? Even fucking Walmart, they interview people for a $15 an hour role because they want to make sure their money is being spent efficiently. A multi-billion-dollar company. What makes you think that a coach who's making maybe 1% of that, not even 1%, a tenth of a percent of that, is just gonna randomly hire somebody because they posted something in a Facebook group saying, hey, I'm Bob and I would like to close deals for you. Their risk level of hiring the wrong person is so much higher because they're not making nearly as much money as Walmart or Amazon, but Amazon still interviews and Walmart probably 10, 20, 30 people to fill one role. That whole like, oh, post in Facebook group misconception is like, it's a whole internet marketing fucking facade, you know? It's like, it's what they need to tell you to sell you at the end of the day, right? Like I keep things real, you know? Like, yeah, we have a coaching program, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that, oh, you're gonna make 20 grand if you follow 3 simple steps. I never do that, right? And yeah, we help people with placements and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, it's like, it ain't easy, right? And just posting in Facebook groups, it's not gonna get you anywhere. And then it comes to like, okay, what kind of offers are you gonna get, right? Which is a whole different conversation, but let's touch on it quickly. I'll tell you this, there's 2 types of coaches in the world, right? There's the ones who make money and there's the ones who aren't making money. And because they're not making money, they don't have a huge budget for advertising. And because they don't have a good budget for advertising, what that means is that they get the leftovers, right? A coach like Ty Lopez or Justin Wall, who dominates their industry, because they have a big marketing budget, they will spend money on ads and they get the best leads, right? They take the best leads out of the marketplace, they take them for themselves and say 95% of the best leads, and then all these other coaches are left with one. They're left with fucking leftovers. They're left with leads who were not prime and were not taken out of the marketplace by these big coaches. And guess who is scrolling through Facebook groups trying to find a salesperson because they have no track record as a coach. They have no lead flow as a coach because they were all those leads were taken out by other individuals, right? So it's like, if that's the route you go, like DMing people and Facebook groups and shit like that, that's naturally the type of coaches that you're gonna be reached out to by. And that's naturally the kind of the caliber of leads and traffic and volume that you're going to get, which in turn is your entire career.
And not even like just like the lead flow, because obviously that's probably number one, but like also at the same time, like the quality of what you're selling. If you're going to make a lot of money, if you want to, build a career, it's like you want to feel amazing selling it. You want to sell something that changes lives and really impacts people, you know?
A lot of people overthink that. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I want to sell something I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about making $20,000 or $30,000 a month. That's what I was fucking passionate about when I started out, right? So a lot of people do overthink that, but you're right in the sense of like quality, right? Because look, there's two e-com programs, right? Let's just say drop shipping, okay? Huge industry. Let's say Justin Wall, Ty Lopez, anybody else who's credible, great program. And then you have this like fucking random guy who DMs me looking for a sales deal. I've never seen your ads. I don't want to work with you, right? These guys here, they have money for ads. They have money for production. They have real skill. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had the credibility that they had. So their training is actually good. They get good reviews, they get good leads, they get referrals, right? They have a fundamental, or rather they have a foundation to actually build a real sustainable business because of the product, right? Like you can have the best sales and marketing in the world, but at the end of the day, if your product sucks, it'll never last. It'll never it'll never last a long time, right? People will criticize it, bad reviews, stuff like that. Just like this coach right here, right? So it's like, the quality of what you're selling is important. I think a lot of people do overthink it a little bit, but the quality and consistency and the deliverability of what you're selling is highly important for the long term of your career. Okay. Right? Like you could sell some bogus product for a little bit and make a little bit of money, but that's never gonna last, right? Yeah. And frankly, I don't know if I would personally be content selling a program that I know doesn't serve people, doesn't bring value, doesn't help, doesn't change lives, you know? For consistency, 100%, super important.
Yeah, and like I feel like the moment you get one of these offers, right? Like when you're selling for one of these, machines that's pumping in great leads, that has a big reputation, that sells an amazing product, has the leadership team and all of that. It's like the cool thing with this space is like the entire business is basically built to put the closer in a position of success. Like every aspect of the business is built to optimize for back-end sales. Yeah. And as a byproduct, to get the closer as much commissions as possible. Yeah. Finding that placement, I feel like is the hardest part for a lot of people, but once they get it, you take it and you run, because it's honestly one of the easier sales industries to close in once you get good.
I've sold door to door before. I've done SMMA sales, so B2B. I definitely think this is by far the easiest, but you're right. Like companies that are hiring salespeople will put you in a position for success, right? Compare that to like insurance companies, compare that to like automotive sales or pretty much any other type of sales. All they care about at the end of the fucking day is, are you bringing in revenue or not? Here it's a different ballgame. It's like they care about the reputation, they care about how you represent them, they care about the brand, they care about their customers. So it's like, really, like you said, they do everything, they being the coaches, to put you in a position to succeed. And I think that that's something that can be undermined, right? That's one of the most important things. But like, you're right, that first step of like getting that placement is the most challenging for most people, right? Mm-hmm. And I mean, I understand why. Like if I was starting out with no track record, no reputation, and no clients that I could send testimonials from and stuff like that, then I mean, I know what I would do, but it ain't easy for sure. It's not like me right now, who I can just send a DM and get pretty much any client. I just DM'd somebody the other day. This girl has 2 million followers, signed a contract within 72 hours, and he's sending a DM, but like, it ain't like that for everyone else, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking that because over the past like 2 months, it'll be like every week you send a message in the group chat and you're like, hey, just landed so-and-so. Yeah. Just landed so-and-so. I'm like, I've been following that guy for 5 years. Like, how the hell did that happen, You're one-upping it every week, that it's awesome. On that note, like, what would you do if you were starting out in the space, no reputation? Like, how would you make it happen?
That's a good question. If I was starting out, okay, I'll give you 2 options. Number 1 is I have money. Number 2 is I don't, right? If I had no money and I had to start in this space, I would probably do this. I would probably reach out to a coach, not one of the bigger ones, because frankly, I know they're not going to answer. So I would reach out to one of the smaller coaches who maybe has a decent organic following. I'd reach out to them through social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatever the case is. I wouldn't ask them for a closer role. What I would ask them is to essentially work for them for free, and potentially, even if I had a little bit of money, I would potentially buy their leads, right? So let's put it this way. Let's say a coach runs ads to a webinar, right? Let's just say their cost per lead is a couple bucks. I would ask the coach, hey, can I buy your leads for say $2 a pop? And I'll close them for your program. That way, you're not like everyone else who's like, oh, let me be your closer. Do you need an appointment setter? Right? Like these coaches get so many messages like that it's like, they're not going to choose anyone, because those are essentially the bottom feeders. Right? Yeah. So it's like, I don't want to say that, but that's the reality, right? And at the end of the day, it's like people hire all the time from referrals and word of mouth, right? Like people would much rather hire somebody that's recommended to them rather than somebody who's like just in their DMs. That's number 1. I would probably reach out to them and say, hey, give me 200 leads or give me 100 leads. I'll pay them. I'll pay for those leads, whatever it costs you, and I'll close them for your program, right? Because that's different. That's going to get their attention, right? So it's like, to them, that's like, zero risk, because you cover the cost of the leads. Even if you don't close a deal, you cover the cost of the leads, and you're offering to close deals for them. So I think that would partially be a good possibility, possibly a no-brainer for some people, not everyone, right? But you gotta know who's in the room, right? Like, if you have no reputation and you have like fucking 7 followers on Instagram and you're DMing a coach with 1 million followers, your message won't even be seen. It's in the request folder. It's never gonna be seen, right? So like, know who's in the room, like know yourself. If you're still a small fish, reach out to a smaller fish, work your way up. That's what I would do if I was pretty much flat broke. I'd save up a little bit of money and buy some leads. And then obviously if, I had money, I had some savings, I would invest in a coaching program like ours where we, number one, train people. We give them access to probably the best community in the entire remote closing industry. Right? And number 3, we guarantee a job. Right? Now, look, I want to be careful with the word guarantee, because we can guarantee our part, right? So I can get you through the door, but if you get on the client and that, start selling for the client, they give you 200 leads and you only call 30 of them in the first 2 weeks, they'll be like, why the hell did you not clear your leads? And then they fire you. So we do our job. We get you in the door. We get you that placement. We get you the client, but you still got to do your part, right? So that's what I would do if I had money, obviously, right? I'd invest in a program like ours where we coach you, train you, because look, for us, really, it's so easy to get somebody a sales gig, right? Like, I get messages on Facebook Messenger, on Instagram, on Discord all the time being like, hey, do you have any closers? I have this offer, that offer. And we get like 10 book calls a day and we can scale to 20, but nobody can take the calls right now. So I get those messages all day long, and I'm happy to just like make intros, right? But you still got to do your part, right? At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, like network, like if you're watching this video and like you're planning on, I want to make $250,000 a year, and like I want to build a career and I want to do amazing things over time. It's like, it's pretty naive to think that you can just do it completely on your own, living out of your mom's basement. Like, you should probably connect yourself to somebody who's already done it. Whether you invest in a program or you don't, like, you need to leverage someone else's reputation, leverage someone else's network after you've gained their respect somehow, right?
Before we started coaching program, I had people reach out to me. I'm like, oh, I heard that guy needs a closer. And then they would jump on an interview with like and they're literally in some basement. There's like shitty lighting. They're smoking a vape. There's like a fucking cat running around in the background. And it's like, they're like, oh, I didn't get the job. I'm like, well, no shit, because your cat that was jumping on the fucking table, from your shoulder to the table to the chair, that's how you're representing the company, right? So it's like, the fact is that A, it's not that easy to land a gig without somebody's help like ours. And B, man, unfortunately, a lot of people who even get a shot at the opportunity don't know how to present themselves. They don't know how to play the part and play the role so they can actually keep the job, right? So there's a lot to it, but ultimately it's like, you're right. Like, if you really think you're gonna get an opportunity to make $250,000 a year, even make 6 figures, which I know for a lot of people is life changing, but I say 6 figures because it's kind of like not that much, right? But it's like, if you really think you're gonna get a decent opportunity, just fucking out of the blue, it's not gonna happen. You gotta be worth that 6-figure opportunity. Your network's gotta be worth that 6-figure opportunity. The other thing is, like, so many salespeople have fucking $3 in their bank account, Yeah. How the fuck are you in sales and gonna call yourself a top producer and have $1 in your account?
If you couldn't figure out how to manage, $3,000 a month or $5,000 a month, like, how do you expect you're gonna manage 20?
Right, I think a lot of it is like ego, right? Ego, everybody's got one, So like, salespeople naturally have an ego, and I think that holds a lot of them back, right? They apply for even our coaching, and sometimes I listen to these onboarding calls with some people who apply for our coaching, and they're like, oh, I've done this, and I've done that, and I've done this. I don't need your coaching. If you're doing so well, why are you looking to switch careers? If you were making $30K a month selling cars, and you are not, I promise you're not looking to get into the space. Like, what's that girl's name? The one that sells at Lamborghini, Toronto? But she's crushing it, man. Like, I've seen people buying Lambos from her left and right. She probably makes 30, 40, 50K a month. You think she's looking at remote closing? No, she's crushing it, You don't look at new opportunities when you're crushing it. You look at it when it's time for a change and it's time for growth, right? So embody that. Embody the growth mindset. Embody the person you need to become a multi-6-figure earner. Don't just expect to become one.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, like with all of that said, I think absolutely once you get the opportunity, like you can do amazing things, but sometimes the hardest part can be getting that opportunity. So
Getting in the door, that's it.
So I think like everybody watching, like now that you know kind of like what's at stake and how to actually go about doing this, I think the first thing people got to do is like not just learn sales and just watch random videos, but like start like focused training, you know, like start actually learning this industry specifically, figure out which space you want to sell in, learn the types of customers, learn what you're selling. I mean, we have tons of content on our YouTube that you can go through that'll teach you how to do it. And, you know, while you're doing that, start, you know, gearing up towards a placement.
100%. It's only going to get bigger, right? Online education is going to get bigger, online courses, coaching, training, and like all aspects. But yeah, like at the end of the day, it's like figure out what you want, right? Understand what kind of schedule you want. Like they're looking to do this full-time, part-time, right? Is this like a long-term career for you, right? Figure out really what you want and then only start thinking about how you can put yourself in that position, right? Step one is become the person, right? Become the individual that can make six figures before thinking about an opportunity to make six figures, right? A lot of people lack the skill, and fundamentally, like you'll never get to your goals, no matter what it is, you'll never get to your goals if you are not the person who can achieve those things, right? Like you'll never be able to do 100 push-ups if you're not in shape to do 100 push-ups, right? So get in sales shape, right? Get the training, invest in yourself, right? I'm not saying don't buy our coaching, right? Like, look, at the end of the day, some people can't afford coaching, and I get it, but there's so many free resources, right? I'll tell you this, like everything you hear from online marketers on tapping into this career, understand that they're online marketers, and the things they say because they sound sexy, not because they're actually true. Grinding it out, posting in Facebook groups, trying to get in the door of $1 million corporation by posting in Facebook groups, like logically speaking, that doesn't even make sense. Work on yourself, work on your craft, and then only the opportunity, right? A lot of people overthink the opportunity and they have no skill. So then when they actually get the opportunity, they blow it, right? So don't be that person. Invest in yourself, in your skill, show up, and be a professional because that's what it takes. Be a professional.
Boom. Dylan, thank you for the words. Thanks for coming on.
Let's do it.
Guys, see you on the next one.
See you on the next one. Work hard. Take all this stuff into consideration. And if you have any questions, drop them down below and we'll be happy to support you.
Peace.